Hello, everybody. On behalf of the Orangeburg Touchdown Club Board of Directors, I'd like to welcome you to our 19th year of the Orangeburg Touchdown Club. Unfortunately, we can't meet together at the cinema as we've done for the past 19 years. But thanks to the T&D and our sponsors, we're now being able to do it on the T&D Facebook page. So I hope you'll enjoy it. We've worked very hard on it. The board has worked very hard on getting this all together. And it's very important to let you know how important the sponsors are and the individual members who have made this club possible. We're going to use the same format that we use at the cinema, which means I started off, I turn it over to Coach, and then we do the high school report. We go to Buddy, he has our great speakers, and then we close up. So at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Hall of Fame coach and MC par none, Coach Willie Jeffries.
Okay, thank you, Rob. I'm waiting, I guess you all can see me, hopefully. But welcome to the 2020 Orangeburg Touchdown Club. And I want to thank our board of directors. Rob Hibbets and all of you have done a tremendous job. And I certainly want to thank Charles House of all the work he's done. He's a real smart guy. He's smart as a tree full of hooting owls. And thank you so much, Charles. So we're gonna, Coach Ayers is on, and I want to welcome him. That's Buddy's job. But Coach Ayers, you're there in Spartanburg. If you go through Union, you know that's my hometown. Throw my mule. I got an old mule. He's still living. Throw him an ear of corn for me. If you go down Highway 176 or Highway 18. But let me cut out all of that. I'm over with Buddy, my former All-America left guard, right guard, and he could play tackle also. See, Buddy was smart. He majored in mathematics. So I'm so proud of him. Now, I hope Chris Clark has finally hooked up. And Rob, if we do not get Chris, I'm going to go to Buddy, and then I'll come back to Chris. So I'll see if he's on. Hope all of you are tuned in, all of our loyal Touchdown Club members. And now we will go, I don't know if he has players of the week or what he'll do, but let's welcome the sports editor for the Times and Democrat newspaper, Chris Clark.
Chris is running a little late, so we'll have to come back to him. We'll go to Buddy. Okay.
Chris is not. He's a young enough guy to be able to know how to this technology. I'm too old to do it, so Buddy helps me. Now we're going to switch up a little bit, little switcheroo. We're going to bring in Coach Buddy Pugh, and let me do it properly. Let's welcome our own coach, Coach Oliver Buddy Pugh.
Thank you, Coach. It's a pleasure to be here. Looking forward to seeing how this virtual deal works for our Orangeburg Touchdown Club. I would like to also welcome Coach Mike Ayers. He's going to come on next after I introduce him. But I want to talk a little bit about what's going on with South Carolina State football and football in general, with what's going on here in college football. Everybody's a little bit, up in the air. I'm sure you've seen all of the talk of the Big Ten and the Pac-12, the Pac, however many those guys got in that league out there now. And, what's going on with them and trying to figure out if we can get, everybody playing. We think that we are going to try to play this spring. And when I say this spring, that means that we'll get our guys in here in another couple of weeks. At that point, then we'll try to have something similar to what would be a regular spring practice kind of affair. We'd at that point then go on and have Christmas holidays. After the Christmas holidays, we bring them right back in after the Christmas holidays. and then we'll try to see if we can get started around the 1st of January. We'll practice until the middle of February. February, I think the 20th is the date that we'd like to try to play our first game. And then we'll go right on through and play a schedule 6 games. Right now is what we think we've got scheduled. We are still trying to finish that schedule, and we're actually talking to some of the schools around the state that might be in other leagues that might want to play us too. So, I'm hoping that, that we can get another game or two. Maybe we can get Wofford. I'm not sure, if that's possible or not. The Southern Conference is also trying to do, something similar to what we are doing in our league. So I think there are a lot of leagues that are going to try to play this spring. So what will happen is, as we get a little bit better feel for, for the virus and exactly how well, we can get this done. I think we all pulling for Carolina and Clemson. I think we all excited. I think the NFL starts tonight, and we get a chance to see Kansas City and Houston play tonight. Get to see Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. We got a couple guys, on that team also. Antonio Hamilton, one of our ex-players, is a corner. We actually got 2 players on that team. Alex Brown's on that team also. Alex is a corner also from down the Holly Hill, but Alex hurt his ACL about 2-3 weeks back, and he's out for the season. But I see Chris Clark over there. But at the same time, yeah, and then Ted Cruz is there too. One of their executives, one of their head honchos out there with the Kansas City Chiefs. Ted Cruz, one of the guys who used to work for Bill Hamilton some years back, is on that staff also, and those guys are all, I'm sure, be gathered up tonight. I think you might have seen a story in the TND a couple of days back where Alex and Ted were there together, having gotten their ring from last year. So, I'm looking forward to seeing football tonight. We all looking for, some football. It's great to see here, to sit here and talk about, football getting started again. High school football in this state, has already started. High schools have started. I think the private schools have started already. They played last week. I saw where OP beat up on some guys and that kind of stuff. And then the public school leagues will be starting in another week or so. I think the week of the 25th is when they'll be started. So South Carolina is pretty, is pretty lucky in the fact that, they seem to have most of their teams, most of their leagues ready and trying to play in high school. In the state of North Carolina, that's right next to us, North Carolina has actually moved their football season to the spring, kind of similar to what we've done here in South Carolina. And Georgia's kind of part half and half, but most of the Georgia schools are playing, kind of similar to where, the South Carolina schools are playing too. So, I'm looking forward to seeing anybody play football. The NFL, Clemson this weekend, the high schools, whatever. So I guess I'm going to go back now to Chris Clark. Chris is the editor of the T&D's sports section. He's also the beat writer for us here at South Carolina State. So I'll go back to you, Chris, and let you talk a little bit about high school ball in the area. Then you can come back to me, and then I'll introduce Coach Ayers, and then we'll go ahead and let Coach Ayers have the floor. Chris Clark.
Thanks, buddy. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
You can? Great. All right. Yes, as Buddy was talking about, it's been quite an odd off season, but right now we have our SCISA teams entering week 3 play, and the high school league teams have just started practices and workouts, and it's been a long, crazy summer for them, but they'll have games starting, of course, on September 25th, so we look forward to that. But we're glad that the season's moving along, and of course the area coaches and student athletes are doing all they can to keep the program safe. So for now, we'll look at our week 2 results from last week with the SCISA schools in our area. We had 3 T&D region teams who moved to 2-0 with wins this past Friday. Like Buddy mentioned, Orangeburg Prep had their second win, and they won big over Calhoun Academy in a rivalry game that everybody was glad to see pick up again after a few years not being able to play. Andrew Jackson Academy won over Jefferson Davis Academy. So let's see, that's 14-0 in a row for Andrew Jackson, having won every game last year in the state championship. So also Holly Hill Academy is 2-0 with their win over Wardlaw Academy. And also we had Clarendon Hall get their first win of the season. And Dorchester Academy is still looking for their first win. They come to OP this week, so that's going to be interesting. But let's go ahead and move to our offensive and defensive players of the week. So this is from week 2 from this past week. And our offensive player of the week, junior wide receiver Kyla Horton, accounted for 32 of Clarendon Hall's points in Friday's 44-28 home win against Cathedral Academy. Horton had 5 receptions for 185 yards and 3 touchdowns, a 2-point conversion, and 2 kickoff returns for touchdowns, 1 for 80 yards and 1 for 95 yards. He also had a 38-yard punt return to help set up good field position. And again, the Saints are 1-1. So our ATI Physical Therapy Offensive Player of the Week for Clarendon Hall School and head coach Anthony Rittenauer is junior wide receiver Kyla Horton. And I'll also mention he's got 2 state championship rings in basketball. And of course, as a junior, he's got a chance to maybe win 2 more. So that's a really good career he's got going there. Now for our defensive player of the week, it's junior linebacker Perrin Breland led Holly Hill Academy with 12 tackles in Friday's 38-6 home win against Wardlaw Academy. Breland also rushed for 46 yards on 5 carries for the Raiders. And they're under new head coach, even though he's coached baseball and volleyball and everything else there. But our ATI Physical Therapy Defensive Player of the Week for Holly Hill Academy and head coach Michael Nelson is junior linebacker Perrin Breland. So we congratulate both Kyla and Perrin. They had really good games, and they've got really good seasons ahead of them. In this week's games, we have Dorchester Academy at Orangeburg Prep, Lee Academy at Calhoun Academy, Andrew Jackson Academy at Wardlaw Academy, Clarendon Hall School at Lawrence Academy, and Holly Hill Academy is at Jefferson Davis Academy. So that's all of our games for this week, and we're looking forward to getting a full slate of them in a few weeks. So I'll turn it back over to you, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you, Mike. Coach Jeffries just commenting the fact that you look like Wolfman Jack. We hadn't seen you in quite some time, and I'm sure the the COVID has given you an excuse to be all haired up. So, hey, Mike, you see this guy? I don't know if you remember him or not, but I'm going to introduce our speaker now. Our speaker for today is Coach Mike Ayers. We all know him. We've been in business now, this club, for going on 19 years now. And Coach Ayers has been our lead guy. So this is the first virtual meeting. So I guess it just only made sense that, that we would have Coach Ayers be, our first speaker, again. But he's now the retired head coach from Wofford. He was at Wofford as the head guy from 1988 to 2017. And of course, he was coach of the year almost every year. He was in the Southern Conference. And I mean, back in the day when the Southern Conference was real tough. I mean, when they had Georgia Southern and Appalachian State and all those other guys too. And he still was the top, guy in that league. He was the coach of the year in 2000 and 2002 and 2003 and 2007 and 2010. And, I can tell you that I didn't beat him in all the years that I was coaching against. So I don't know if I want to admit that or not. I maybe ought to keep that a secret. But, he was a tremendous practitioner of the Wofford style offense. I don't know exactly what we call it. I used to call it a combination of the wing tee and the Georgia Southern ham bone, wing bone, all the other kinds of stuff. He had all that stuff mixed up together. But Coach Ayers is married to his wife, Julie. They've got 3 grown kids now. Probably got a whole bunch of grandkids and all that kind of stuff. Now, I don't know exactly how many they got, but they got some grandkids out there. And, he got his kids are doctors and lawyers and all kinds of stuff. And, he's just a tremendous gentleman. And we, really enjoy having him come to Orangeburg for a whole lot. I think he's been here to speak at every kind of thing you can imagine in the city of Orangeburg. So, ladies and gentlemen of the Orangeburg Touchdown Club, I introduce to you, probably just say, hey, this is Mike Ayers, and that would have been better because everybody knows who he is. Coach Mike Ayers.
Thank you, buddy. I hope you can hear me. It's been a difficult time for everybody, for our country, for our athletes, and for everyone's families. Who would have thought that a virus could basically cripple our country? And the thing that is so disheartening, quite frankly, is when the thing started going, we didn't respond as people the way that we should have. I can remember going and trying to find toilet paper, and there would be a sign that said limit 2 per customer, and you would see people with grocery carts full, and you would have almost a fist fight over toilet paper. And it got to the point to where you got to ask, what's the mentality, and the bottom line is, when you're in that type of situation, it's the me mentality versus the we. And the thing that we always try to pride ourselves on at Wofford, and I'm sure you do, buddy, at South Carolina State, is that the culture that we want to build, that the culture that we want to strengthen every day is the we. Believing in one another, working for one another, and giving all you've got for one another. If we as a country will be more concerned with the we mentality versus the me, I believe that we can correct and beat any virus or any other situation that may occur that is a negative part of life. We have been, you might say, low on football as far as being able to see the games, going to practices and things like that. Those are limited. The interesting thing that struck me was there were several games that were on last week, and they were on with empty stadiums, and just the feel of the game was not the same. And that's why when you look at football, it's about not only the players, not only about winning and losing, but it's about the fans. It's about the fans that create the energy that allows each player out there to play his best, to take it to another level. And so I sure hope that we get people in those stands as quick as possible, that we start playing that great game that we love so much, and that our country comes together and our country does what it's supposed to do. And that's to care for one another, to love one another, and believe in one another.
And when you get ready, we'll go ahead and open the floor for some questions. I don't know if we can actually make all that come together or not, but give it a shot.
Yeah. Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you, this your buddy, Coach Jeffries.
Yes, sir.
When you speak like this and that shortage of toilet paper.
Yes, sir.
Old Bill Hayes used to be the coach at North Carolina A&T. Before the game, Bill and I had to go to the restroom. I mean, in a hurry.
Yeah.
And when we finished, I said, Bill, you have any toilet paper? He said, no, do you have any? I said, no. I said, well, give me 5 ones for a 5. Put that one in your repertoire if you have to speak virtually again.
Golly, Coach, you the best.
Okay,
You're the legend, the living legend, and keep it that way.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Open it.
Coach, do you feel like that the schools will be able to play the entire year? Do you think they've got their protocols in line and you think they can take care of everything? Are you positive about that? Or are you 50-50?
Well, bottom line, it comes down to, are you going to follow the rules? If your athletes follow the rules, the protocol, then it's going to work. Give you an example. 3 of the guys that played for me and coached with me are up at West Point. And, you know, they have a unique situation in the way that they can limit access to their players, and those guys are dialed in on getting and doing everything right. If you do what you're supposed to do, if you adhere to the protocol, then the bottom line is the protocol works. If you don't, if you're example, same thing. If you have a couple me guys on your team versus the we, and they go out and they party, and the next thing you know, they get in a situation where they're COVID and they're testing positive, then the next thing you know, it knocks the whole team back. So it takes guys that are willing to, and I really hate the word sacrifice, because bottom line, it's not a sacrifice. Putting on a mask, how hard is that? You know, wearing a ball hat, it's no different than wearing a ball hat. And ultimately, you got to have guys that are willing to do what needs to be done, guys who are going to be disciplined, and guys who are going to think first of the team versus themselves.
Coach, I've got a question for you.
Yep.
So one of the kind of forefront figureheads of the Let Us Play movement was Trevor Lawrence out of Clemson.
Right.
When that first came out, kind of talk us through, what was your initial reaction to the players using this platform that they have now to almost be a figurehead for the pushing of having this season?
Well, I think as we see, you know, it's players are going to be more active and more out front. Coaches that believe in their guys, that trust in their guys, are going to afford those guys the opportunity to speak out and kind of let people know from almost an inside the locker room type mentality. And you know, you can have a lot of opinions, but you know, it comes down to you've got to look at what the problem is and come up with a solution that works. It can't be a situation where you just you know, shooting from the cuff and really not. If you haven't done your homework, then it's going to come back to bite you.
And I also have another follow-up question. So this past week, we saw some unfathomably high scores with some schools. Do you think that defenses are going to have a hard time rather than offenses getting their play?
I think this offensively, defensively, when you look at football, you know, the big thing and the predominant thing is, you know, throwing the football, the RPOs, run pass options, and you know, the old dinosaur is the triple option type, run first mentality. Fourth down is a down you use frequently, and you just basically try to play keep away. Part of our success at Wofford was due to that factor. There were times, many times, where we would have 12 or 15 play drive, score, we'd get a 3 and out by our defense, and then we'd go on another 12 or 15 play drive. And we were able to beat people that were better than us just because we didn't allow their offense that much, that many opportunities on the field.
Yeah, I got a question, Coach.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I've seen in the Southern Conference where Mercer is playing 2 or 3 games and the Citadel is playing 2 or 3 games. And my understanding is that Wofford's practicing. Some of the other guys are kind of sort of practicing. What is your understanding? And then I'm hearing that they're going to play in the spring. Some of them would like to try to play in the spring. Have you heard anything of what they actually are planning to do for the rest of the year and how they're going to play, what they're going to do this spring? What's the plan?
I don't know the plan, quite frankly. You know, I know that they have practiced, but as far as playing, I think that was a league decision, and you know, they were basically going to not play and hopefully start up at a later date. And a lot of the decisions are NCAA decisions, but you know, you had the opportunity to play 4 games without it counting against your kids as far as their eligibility. And because of the FBS leagues that decided not to play, a lot of schools were affected by those people not playing, and therefore there was a lot of open slots. And that allowed a lot of schools, quite frankly, to, you know, have a game and, you know, have an opportunity for a nice paycheck.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any more, Charles, at all?
So we'll have to improve upon this, but the chat was disabled. So for right now, we'll try to improve that for next week and get a better Q&A session. But I appreciate you, Coach Ayers, for answering those tough questions.
No problem. No problem. I've got an opinion. It may not be right, but you know, I'll try to give it my best shot.
Well, thank you so much.
I can't hear you, buddy.
Rob,
There you are.
I think you might be up. Coach, you got something you got to say here? Because I think what we do is go to you, Rob, and you go ahead and talk about next week. Our speaker next week is going to be Brent Thompson from the Citadel. Good
man. Good coach.
Yes, he'll be here. They'll be getting ready to play Clemson that Saturday, so he'll have his hands full.
Yeah, Coach Ayers.
Yes, sir.
You know, Brent Thompson was a great wide receiver because he could run under the coverage.
Coach, since you've been retired, what do? You have about 2 or 3 hours where you start writing jokes?
No, they
got
just
more. Gosh.
Well, in my repertoire, I just pull an old one out of the hat for you.
Well,
you're the best.
We appreciate you. I'll get with you sometime here the next week. So we'll talk a little bit.
All right, buddy.
It was great. We appreciate you a bunch.
Hey, God bless. I love you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Coach.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, Rob.
First of all, I need to thank Coach Ayers. He's really a part of our club. He comes every year. You can see my Wofford shirt that I have on that I wear for every team. You're inspiration to all of us. We appreciate you joining in with us, and please give our best to Julie, okay? I'd like to, as we do every week, I'd like to congratulate again Perrin and Kyla for their outstanding performances on the field. Rest assured, our club will get you your shirts. We gave out $1,000 a couple times last year, but we don't have the money for that this year, so you just have to take the shirts. Also, it's unfortunate that we can't have the parents here, because we usually have the coach and the parents and the coach are what, in large part, make these kids who they are. So we congratulate them also. The Citadel coach will be here next Thursday, and it'll be interesting to see what he has to say about his upcoming game with Clemson. We're working on having a pick'em contest, a Chestnut Grill pick'em contest, so be on the lookout for that. Again, I need to thank the board for all they've done, our sponsors, and especially the T&D who's put this all together. And I'm not a technician, but I think it came off very well. Appreciate everybody listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next Thursday at the same time, 12 o'clock. Thank you and take care.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Take care.
Go take care.
All right. Thank you, Larry. You can cut the feed now.